Hi everybody, this is a black, red, and green Arcane Bombardment deck. It was inspired by the card Up the Beanstalk, a card that's kind of been making a splash in some tournament results and even made an appearance in a standard World Championship deck list. Now, that particular deck list is a Bant control list. It only has about maybe 10 cards or so that can actually reliably activate Up the Beanstalk, in that they are 5 mana value or greater. So I thought this might be fun to try in a bombardment deck where we can repeatedly cast some expensive spells for free and hopefully draw some cards and keep filling up our hand. The thing I like about Up the Beanstalk is that even though it's an enchantment and doesn't activate bombardment, it's kind of just like a free cycling enchantment with upside the longer it sits around on the board. Now, an unexpected side effect of this card is that some opponents think we're up to no good and will actually use their enchantment removal to target this card instead of our Arcane Bombardment. So it's also kind of like pseudo-protection for our bombardment in a backwards kind of way. Anyways, I had some fun with this deck and really enjoyed trying it out. It's not the most competitive deck, but it was kind of interesting seeing what we could get away with Up the Beanstalk. So yeah, let's go see a few games with this deck over on the ranked standard ladder and see what's up the beanstalk. All right. Well, we've got Up the Beanstalk. Let's get into it a bit here. Seeing if we can't use this to cycle through our deck a little bit, draw some extra cards. Let's go Ziatora's Proving Ground, start us off. If we draw an untapped land, we can Beanstalk right on time on turn 2. There we go, Sulfurous Springs. The remains of that relaxing demon. Up the Beanstalk gets us a Riveteers Charm. Opponent on something blue and white. Let's see. Extraordinary Journey on 0. Huh. Alright. Looking to do some blinking, I guess. Not much we can do here. Riveteers Charm doesn't deal with enchantments. So it looks like we may have to just start going for Shatter the Oath. Alright, no play from the opponent there. Let's go for land number 4. Gives us the option to big score or play some of our instant removal. Opponent goes Plains into Lauren of the Third Path. Alright, well, we at least drew a card off the Beanstalk, and that's a piece of enchantment removal that's not going to hit our bombardment later in the game. Let's big score away our Lily. See a Cottage and a Brotherhood's End, another big score. Let's get this tap land going here. Let's just pass it on back. So are we going to see a bunch of creatures with comes into play abilities then? Looks like we might. So Spirited Companion. Going to draw our opponent a card. Virtue of Knowledge, going to copy that. Okay. And then if they get to play the Virtue later on, that's going to help with all of their comes into play abilities as well. I see where you're going with this. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Let's go big score. Get rid of Riveteers Charm. I guess my other question is which streamer/YouTuber came up with this deck? It's always in the back of my mind when I face something new like this. I'm like, is this a one-of, or did somebody see this somewhere? All right, let's go for Shatter the Oath on the Extraordinary Journey. Okay, that works. Nothing to put a token on, but that's fine. We might be able to make a Wicked Devil later on. Okay, opponent's got a fancy Restoration. Gonna go find a Plains. All right, yeah, if they set this up right, that Virtue of Knowledge could be really helpful. As it stands, we get hit for 3 down to 15. All right, a land off the top. All right, tell you what, let's fire up the Cottage. A nice 4/4 body. Great. We're going to go attacking. Let's get rid of the Journey just in case. In case they want to discard and bring that back, which I think is the thing they can do with Restoration. Twining Twins. I see. Okay. Even more exploitation of blinking and bringing things back into play. All right, Cottage gets in for 4, though. And so Twins is a 4/4 flyer. All right, let's make him sacrifice Lauren. Because like I said, our ultimate game plan, as the companions come back, our ultimate game plan is to get Bombardment down and just get some extra value out of all the stuff we've been doing. And if they're just going to blink Lauren willy-nilly, we're not going to keep a bombardment on the board. In that kind of scenario, Eternal Wanderer here from the opponent. What are we doing? All right, more blinking. We're going to blink the dog. Bring it back, draw a card. Yeah, unfortunately, that puts the Wanderer out of range of this burn down the house, but I think that's okay. All right, let's play the Rockfall Vale. Yeah, because the Wanderer doesn't hit enchantments, right? I think it's just artifacts and creatures. So let's get Bombardment down. What we can do here is Brotherhood's End to get rid of the dog and at least prevent some recurring draw effects. And that'll also wear the Wanderer down. Big score, a great pickup here. All right, new plan. Let's pitch the burn down the house. And then we can continue wearing the Wanderer down. And eventually we'll pick that burn down the house back up. Yeah, because the Wanderer doesn't threaten our board state too much, but it does enable some shenanigans. Virtue of Knowledge comes down. They opt to make a double strikey token. Well, little do they know we've got backup Brotherhood's End. That'll take out the token, but not the Architect. Proving Ground finds us. Virtue of Persistence. Well, that could be nice. We could steal a couple of utility creatures maybe out of the opponent's grave. All right, well, let's start it off here. Brotherhood's End. This should catch a couple of things. Oh, and they've got Soul Partition for the Bombardment. Evil. All right, well, at least we can replay it, but we do lose the spells under there. However, we do get to cast them right now, since that doesn't impede the ability. All right, we draw Burn Down the House and Riveteers Charm. Brotherhood's End takes out everything on the board, leaving them with just the Virtue of Knowledge. And we've got enough mana, crazily enough, to replay Arcane Bombardment right now. All right, Twining Twins. We got a 4/4 flyer with a little bit of ward. Anything else? No. Okay, all right. Well, yeah, let's go for Burn Down the House on damage. Bring some more things into this bombardment. Get a Riveteers Charm. Let's exile your graveyard. We know you can bring things back with Restoration. I don't know what else is in there. This could prevent some future shenanigans. Oh no, and they've got another Twins to save the first Twins. All right, okay. All right, this deck has got some resilience to it. Opponent with a land. Got a 4/4 flyer on board. All right, we're going to take this hit because I want to see what else they're doing. Wandering Emperor. Makes a token. Okay, and just ready to pass. Let's go for the Riveteers Charm. Let's make them sacrifice their most expensive thing. Bombardment picks up a Burn Down the House. All right, well, let's do some damage anyway. Clear out that Planeswalker. Another Charm. Let's exile some things. Find some more spells. There's an Up the Beanstalk. That's fantastic. And I think, yep, Burn Down the House is under Bombardment. So now we can repeatedly activate Up the Beanstalk. Let's play a land from exile. Let's count some mana here. What can we do? All right, let's go Up the Beanstalk. Great, we draw another Up the Beanstalk. Let's see. Don't know if this makes any sense to do, but we're going to tap this way, tap that, and one of these, and we're going to tap that one. All right, fantastic. Great. We'll hit Restless Cottage. And a little bit of draw there. Get another burn down the house under bombardment. Fantastic. Let's make some devils. Make some more devils. Let's see. Don't think we need to Riveteers Charm anything just yet. So now we get 2 triggers of Up the Beanstalk. We're going to draw a few things here. We're going to burn down the house on devils twice. Rebuild the city. Gets us our lovely tapped Restless Cottages. Gets me every time, I swear. All right. Well, to be fair, we do play a lot of tap lands in here. All right. And even if we would have played that on the forest, I don't think we could have finished our opponent there. So don't come for me. Opponent's got ossification. All right. Going to take out... Oh, they get a double trigger, so it takes out 2 of our cottages. And then the twins coming down out of exile. And they're going to put a counter on it. Well, we've got to play with fire for your face. We've got 2 burn down the house under bombardment. And we pick up Rebuild the City. Yep. We're going to untap that, so let's go for the cottage. Let's make about 6 devils here. I'm going to Riveteers Charm them, make them sacrifice the twins. We're just going to draw a casual 3 with Up the Beanstalk. This is wild. I can see why this card made it into a tournament deck. If you can afford to play the expensive stuff, that's just too fun. All right, well, we've got a few tokens on board. Let's get rid of our opponent's remaining blocker. And just so we're sure, let's make a few more. Play with fire the opponent. That'll get him to 9. Let's rebuild on an untapped forest. Going to burn down the house a couple of times. Make about 6 more devils. And then, finally, another Riveteers Charm. We'll draw 3 cards from Up the Beanstalk. At this point, I think the opponent just wants to see what happens, too. This is probably the most tokens I've ever made in Standard. Well, maybe outside of a Skewed Swarm. All right, let's go attacking. We get our triggers, which definitely doesn't matter, but we're going to do it anyway. Because we get to make 4 free foods. And I'm all about the free food. All right, well, looking at the grand total here... Yeah, that's right. Our forests must not have been able to attack since they just came into play. We get them. -20. Good game. Thanks, opponent. All right. Well, this looks pretty acceptable, actually. It's nothing to sneeze at when Arena gives you a 3-land opener. Or at least when they give me a 3-land opener. Let's go ahead and do Cottage. We can keep up Play with Fire, although with nothing on turns 1 and 2, I'm not sure what our opponent's got for us here. Okay, Karumonix the Rat King. And doesn't find anybody. All right, well, go ahead and sacrifice that for us. Follow that up with a Haunted Ridge, and try to play with fire again. Bloated Contaminator. Okay, so this might not be rats, this might be toxic. All right, well, let's play Boseiju out. Well, since we haven't been hit yet, we might be okay taking a hit or 2 from this Contaminator. See if we can't rush a big score. Yeah, you can have that one, opponent. So it makes the Contaminator even more toxic, and then they get to proliferate on top of that from the hit. So we're at 4 poison counters now, but I didn't want to use 2 cards on that. Let's big score. So we're in a situation, and I've actually been adding more Play with Fire to our deck, where See, we've got this untapped land. We can immediately go Bombardment. We'll auto-pay. And because we've got a 1-mana spell at the ready, let's just go ahead and fire that off. In case we get big score, we'll have something to do on our opponent's turn with the extra mana from the treasure. Boom. We got it. We got it. All right. Let's discard extra play with fire. Your job is done. We get Riveteers Charm. Ooh, up the beanstalk on the top. Yes. Well, yeah, we don't need that right now. I got plenty of cards. We're going to be big scoring all the time. And it doesn't activate Bombardment, which is kind of the phase of the game that we're in now. Okay. Contaminator coming over. We got the Sheoldred's Edict for you this time, buddy. No bloated contamination over here, if you please. Let's go play with fire on the face. Big score off of Bombardment. Discarding Proving Ground. And we pick up Shatter the Oath, another Proving Ground. Let's put that land on the bottom. And... okay, so no way of protecting that, but the Necrogen Communion is going to bring it right back. However, it didn't hit us. And they're going to do it again. Okay. Well, I think we can keep this thing from hitting us for a pretty good while then. So we've got this charm. We could shatter it right now. Yeah, let's shatter it. It'll come back, then we can charm it. All right, so in the meantime, let's big score. Big score again. We can get rid of that lightning strike. Let's cast Play with Fire on our opponent. Land, no thanks. All right, big score. Gets us a Brotherhood's End in a land. Then a burn down a house in a land. Okay, and Communion we know is going to bring that back. But that's okay, because we've got the charm to make them sacrifice and activate our enchantment on their turn. Venerated Rot Priest. I think we can let that land and still charm our way out of this. Yes, let's go for that. All right, charm. Sacrifice the most expensive thing. Bombardment activates. We get Play with Fire to go with all of our big scores. So let's do that. Discarding a Springs. And big score, discard other Springs. Play with Fire. Let's target this Rot Priest. We're still all right on poison counters, and I'd rather that didn't stick around. They've got Whisper of the Dross. All right, well, that gets us up a bit more. 7 poison counters. Big scores happen. We get a couple of board wipes, and opponent scoops it up. Good game. We're going to keep this. We've got an Up the Beanstalk here. Really want to just try that card as much as possible, so we're going to start off with this Restless Cottage. Hopefully the Beanstalk can draw us into some more lands. Oh, no. Don't do it. All right, they take the Brotherhood's End. All right, we're all good. We're going to play Up the Beanstalk, draw a free card off of that. We get a replacement Brotherhood's End. Okay. Tangled Colony, though. All right, well, we got to use Liliana on that. Our low-end board wipes are damage-based, and Tangled Colony just ruins that for us. So, luckily, a nice clean sacrifice from Liliana. A Lord Skitter brings a rat into play, exiles the Brotherhood's End. Okay, we could, yeah, let's try this. Let's make him sacrifice Lord Skitter. Leaves him with the rat. We've got an empty graveyard. We can discard another Brotherhood's End. All right, so now it's just a rat on board. We can start hopefully getting to this big score in a sec. Another Lord Skitter. Kidding me. All right, another Brotherhood's End gone. They seem pretty worried about that card, so nice that we've got another one. Okay, Takenuma the draw. Let's play that as land number 4. All right, let's go for the discard. We're going to get rid of big score. All right. Now will Brotherhood's end. Wipes that board. I don't know if it's relevant, but I wanted them to make that discard decision before we wiped the board. Chiromonics here, bringing a little toxic and finding a tangled colony. All right, come on, big score. Help us find something. There's a Vraska and a land. Well, Vraska's going to get us an extra draw from this beanstalk. Tangled colony comes down. We're going to drop to 17, get a poison counter. Ooh, there's an old one. Tribute to Hirobi. So they're going to give us some rats and then try to take them right back. All right, let's go full price Vraska. That lets us play with fire if we need to hit something else. And we draw a Riveteers Charm off of Up the Beanstalk. Let's turn this Tangled Colony to a treasure. And I think we just kind of have to deal with Chiromonics here for a turn. We pick up a couple of rats. Thinking about attacking Vraska. Opts for the song. All right, so we got to deal with 4 hasty rat tokens. Let's see where they get pointed. Nowhere. As we draw Burn Down the House. Well, all right, let's turn Chiromonics into a treasure. So we're going to lose these rats. Let's go ahead and just wipe everything and draw with Up the Beanstalk. Sorry, Vraska. Gonna take the hit for me there. We could have made devils, but our opponent would have gotten the 2 rats that we had in play. And I know there are some cards in these rat decks that pump the power of all these creatures. So a little wary of that. Hirobi attacks, doesn't sack anything, brings us to 14. Let's see, we could play with Fire the Colony. That doesn't help us too much. Lily's not terrible. Actually, yeah. All right, let's go for Liliana of the Vale. Ask our opponent to kindly sacrifice. They do. No damage has been dealt, so no replacement rats. And then I suppose we could just pass, right? Yeah, so Riveteers Charm is an instant. We can make them sacrifice the Hirobi on their turn if they try to do anything good. Don't really care about this Lily. Sure, go ahead. What is that last card in your hand? Okay, not sure. But it's not important enough to put down. Let's go ahead and Riveteers Charm. Let's draw some cards. And opponent scoops it up. All right, we got there. Good game. All right. Well, we've got our Shatter the Oath here. We just need to up the beanstalk. Start getting some payoff from playing these kind of expensive spells. Opponent starts off with a Dark Slick Shores. We get a Restless Cottage. Well, I think let's keep 2 mana open so we can lightning strike something potentially. Okay, opponent's got a Philology Archaeologist. All right, they get nothing back with it, and so they put a counter on it. What is this? Not too scary by itself, which is why I'm leaving it alone. Comes in and attacks for 1. And that looks like a Boseiju in there, so this is 3 colors. All right, well, let's zap the looter. Sheoldred's Edict the draw. We've got big score mana. Let's try to squeeze in a big score, perhaps. Don't like big scoring against these colors because they will often counter it. Big score is such a nice thing to counter. Sleep Cursed Fairy. That's 2 fairies, another archaeologist. So clearly wants to mill some stuff. Looks like another looter hits the grave. Gets back Go for the Throat. Are we trying to dig for a reanimation target? Alright, big score gets us a Vraska. There's a Ob Nixilis for us. I think it's Vraska here. We're gonna do full price. And we're gonna start drawing. Oh, and we can put we can put a stun counter on the fairy. That's great. I'm thinking even though they've got some creatures on the board, they don't have enough to get rid of Vraska, and maybe we can use her to draw some cards. Keep getting some lands going. Rebuild the city. There's a fun one-of card in here. All right, let's keep drawing. Keep trying to get those lands. Edict. Let's put another counter on the fairy. Let's big score then. Try to make our land drop for the turn. Ob Nixilis doesn't have much to casualty here, so put him away for the moment. Well, there's a land, Takenuma. Let's go ahead and play that. Is this some kind of fairies deck? I'm thoroughly confused here. All right, so they're taking a counter off of the fairy. They can do that anytime. That's only 2. Okay. All right. It's all coming together. Okay. So opponents trying to use Agatha's Soul Cauldron, put +1/+1 counters on things, and I'm assuming untap things indefinitely. I think there's like an infinite mana combo in here somewhere. Right, so they sack the thing without the +1/+1 counter on it. So it looks like since the Archaeologist has a counter on it already, it can immediately do whatever Agatha's Soul Cauldron grabs. So then how do we combat that with our Bombardment deck? All right, let's get rid of one of these Archaeologists. Probably one of the saddest targets for Vraska. Let's try to Edict this fairy. So I think our strategy around this is to try and keep the board clear, not allow them to have any creatures on board that can pick up all the abilities that Agatha's Soul Cauldron is going to give them. And we've got our Shatter the Oath in here. I can't remember if I've got a Boseiju, which would be able to take out the Cauldron. Let's go for the Charm. Yeah, let's just try to get something off at the top here. We could maybe exile their graveyard. That could be relevant. All right, there's a Beanstalk. That's good. And there's a Boseiju. That's good too. Okay. All right, let's play Cottage from our exiled cards from the Charm. Rebuild the city could be nice. Yeah, I don't know if we have to worry about the Cauldron just yet. We could potentially save this Boseiju for later. Am I tapping this right? I'm trying to not tap the Cottage here. Let's see. Does that work? No, still not liking that. All right. Hold on. We've entered full control. All right, I need this color. Nope, still doesn't like that. All right, we're just going to individually tap every land except the one I'm trying to tap. That should be 6. Rebuild the city, hitting the Restless Cottage, so we're going to get 3 copies of that. And those should remain 3/3 creatures indefinitely. Okay, yeah, and since the Cottage says that it enters the battlefield tapped, then our copies enter the battlefield tapped as well. I was hoping we would be able to immediately swing in for 9. Not the case there. All right, so opponent with a Fairy Mastermind. So if these cottages remain alive, we can start eating things selectively out of the graveyard, and then we might have to keep Boseiju open as like a backup emergency valve kind of thing, because just from what I'm seeing, I don't really see that they have the infinite combo close to assembled yet. So we're going attacking. We're going to try to exile 3 things. So we'll get Mastermind, Likeness Looter, and Archaeologist. So in response, they go for the throat one of the cottages, but the effect's still happening. They could, with Agatha, pull up one of the things that we're targeting with the cottage, if there's something particularly important that they need. Looks like they're thinking about it. And they do, okay. Well then, in response to that, we could Boseiju. I don't know if it's that important yet. Puts a counter on the cauldron, or sorry, on the Mastermind. The rest of the cottages go off. This one doesn't have a target. Okay. And the cottages have Menace at least, so that's kind of nice. All right, well, I'm worried since I can't quite figure this out. We're just going to get rid of the cauldron. Keep picking apart that graveyard, and hopefully that leads us somewhere. Boseiju lets our opponent get a land. And yeah, let's keep putting Vraska to use. Let's make a treasure here. Each player draws a card. That's cool. Pick up a land, and the Mastermind is now a treasure. All right. Turn ends. Opponent's got another go for the throat for some of our Restless Cottage copies. Another Soul Cauldron. All right, we're going to have to get creative to answer that one. Only one Boseiju in the deck. There's Virtue of Persistence. That one could be interesting. Let's draw with Vraska and see what we get first. Opponent flashes in a Mastermind for some reason. All right. I was probably going to get the draw trigger. Excuse me. So Vraska proliferates. They get the free draw. That's fine. We're still a little bit ahead on cards. I think we've got enough. Do we have enough for this? Yeah, let's do Lochthwain's Scorn. Take out this Mastermind. I would love to attack with this Animated Cottage. We will eat one of the Masterminds. Soul Cauldron targets the Mastermind, sure. Get our opponent to 11. Still keeping this board clear of creatures. If Shatter the Oath hit artifacts, that would be wonderful. All right, opponent's got a Sheoldred for us. Which one? Yeah, let's grab one of these architects, or archaeologists rather. Too many professions entering Magic the Gathering. All right, Agatha's going to try to eat that. Let's go ahead and use this opportunity to get Sheoldred out of the way. Okay, Soul Cauldron's going to eat that Archaeologist. There's a Bombardment. Wonderful. Keep thinking these foods are treasures. They are not treasures. All right, let's go eat Sheoldred. That would be a bad ability to be able to give every creature in your deck. All right, let's get Bombardment down. We've got 1 mana left to activate it with Play with Fire. And they've got a Spell Stutter for me. Well, okay, we'll tap the Cottage. That gives us 2 mana. And let's draw with Vraska. Don't think the opponent was counting on the Cottage remaining untapped, still being a land. Does leave us kind of shields down. They've got to go for the throat for the Cottage. All right, opponent. Now's your chance. Wonder if they need to untap. Virtue gonna grab this Mastermind, Agatha's Soul Cauldron. They're activating that in response, so we're gonna activate Bombardment. Lightning strike at our opponent. Play with fire on the looter. So more things under Cauldron, but nothing on the board to use them. Let's animate one of these cottages. Any removal here? All right, we'll try to eat a looter. All right, going in. Play with fire to the face. And that should do it. Man, good game.